Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Tool to Play presents Still Got Game with Derek D. Smooth Nolan and Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
It's better than nothing. All right, here we go. This episode of Still Got Game is brought to you by Think Geek and the Craft Beer Club. Hey now! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Still Got Game, episode 321. Still Got Game's official podcast of tooltoplay.com. I am, as always, Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
And I am Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
Oh my God, Joel Dude I Rock Albert. How did we even get the show started tonight?
I have no idea. Apparently, I thought you were going to do it, then you thought I was going to do it, and so neither of us did anything.
But it all comes down to one guy's fault.
One guy.
Really. And his name rhymes with Shitman.
Yeah, so Hitman's off today, or for this entire month, right? Pretty much.
Yes.
So we have been relegated to be the ones that are actually going to do the streaming, which is fine. I think we can handle it. But if neither of us prepares, because the other one thinks the other one's going to do it, it leaves us into these situations. So that is the situation we are currently in. I am now streaming through my XSplit, and we won't have a lot of the fancy production that we normally have.
No, as you can see, there's no episode number in the corner. There's nothing behind me. I just got a green screen. There's nothing greening on it. It's crazy. Yep. So it's definitely not your highbrow show, but it is a show nonetheless, especially after we took 2 weeks off. We had to be back.
Had to have a show. Right.
And
we had no choice.
We missed you guys.
We did.
Yep.
So I think when we don't do a show for like 2 weeks, I think that's like the sweet spot where we have to do a show, because then you start to get in that, like, you're just not as smoothed over. Things get rougher the longer you wait.
Yeah,
so you gotta get out there and do a show.
It's like riding a bike. You just gotta keep it going.
Gotta get on bike.
Back on the bike, baby.
Exactly.
All right, well, let's jump right in the show proper. We'll start off with feedback from last week's show. Remember, if you want to leave us a voicemail, it will cut you off after a minute. Schmeef comments. Been listening to your show for the past month, and I'm trying to figure out what I ever did before it. Your magic recipe of entertainment and information is a perfect blend. Thank you for the weekly commute distraction. Yeah,
I love these comments, right? Just your standard, you guys are amazing comments. These are the ones that I generally, after reading them, feel pretty good.
Yeah, you got no problem with them, really.
No problems at all.
No. This is a feel-good comment.
It's a feel-good comment, yeah.
And we do like these. And it's no accident that if I have to pick 3 or 4 comments out of 7 or 8,
sure,
I'm always going to pick maybe one of these.
Sure.
Or more. If there are more. But yes, thank you, Schmeef. That's very kind. And I don't know what you did before either. Maybe you were a serial killer.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you're doing this now instead of serially killing.
I'm glad we turned your life around.
It's just add you to the list. Another strike, check mark. Yep. Another one saved. But all right. Lieutenant Ortega comments. I'm a big fan of your new format that has Electrify reading the news. To be honest, my week is mostly spent listening to other dudes. A female voice talking gaming is a fresh breath.
So this isn't. So this is a new format that is old as fuck. I think we've had the new format about 6 times in the last 2 years. Yep. So, but yeah, when we can do it, I prefer it as well.
It's new to you, Lieutenant.
It's new to you, right?
And Tiff would have been here tonight. Minus, well, one, it would have been insanely difficult for us to do it without Hit here and have all 3 of us. But she is out at job orientation for her new job today, so she wouldn't have been able to make it anyway. But the last 2 weeks she could have been here, but we didn't have shows then because of Hitman. Right. So, but yes, so hopefully, actually, we'll probably not until Hit's back we will get Tiff back. Otherwise, Jay and I are doing this wing it, seat of your pants type show.
Yeah, I mean, if I have some prep time, maybe I can do another. I'll give you 2 screens. That's all you get from me. You don't get multiple screens and angles and shit like that, but I have enough motivation in my body to possibly, if Tiff comes back, because let's face it, when she does do the news, then I don't have to.
Yeah, so you can sit back and just switch screens while you're taking your break.
If I could go just to clicking, sounds good.
It's worth the effort.
Worth the effort at that point, yeah.
All right, well, we'll see about that next week. Then we'll get Tiff back on. All right, and Rutger comments. Although I wasn't keen on the last 2 shows where your format changed a little bit, where questions were posed directly to Hitman, I absolutely love your after show now. After the well-structured episode, it's nice to have the dessert of the four of you riffing on whatever.
I disagree with this comment.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree that it sort of breaks the fourth wall, if you will, if that's even a thing with what we do here. I hate to even be that highbrow, but I will say that.
It's breaking the fourth. I'll go with that, yeah.
You'll go with that, right? Okay. Although I do at certain points in time, now we don't do that very often, but if there is a question that I know is good for hit or something where I know, see, me and Derek, we agree a lot, and that's okay. It doesn't make for the most exciting conversation at points because we're literally just circle jerking each other off for like
yeah, you're right, babe. You're right.
You're just as right. So it's nice to sort of throw it to the peanut gallery, which in this case is Hit, or even Tiff at times, right, if she's around, and get some of their feedback. Because a lot of times when Hit says something, we generally think it's insane, and so we riff off of the insane response we get, which can sometimes be a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, it's we don't normally do that. But usually it's for at least we think a good reason.
I guess it must have happened 2 shows in a row.
I think it did. Yeah, I think
he thinks it's a normal thing now.
Yeah,
but no, it's very rare.
It's rare. Yeah.
But if you do want your dose of Hit and more than just Tiff reading the news, you are correct. If you listen to the audio version or you hang out later in the stream, if you're a live viewer, it never makes it to the YouTube version. But that is where all of the post-show conversation goes, which also includes Tiff and Hit. So. If you were a big fan of that, like there was the one episode where we spent 30 minutes talking to Hit while he was an idiot about Destiny.
Yeah, that was a whole episode that, I mean, literally was almost 45 minutes of talking.
Yep.
There's a lot of those that happen. Again, sometimes when you pose a question to Hit, you get you can do a whole show.
He's absolutely insane.
He's insane.
Yes. All right. Well, but yes. So in the future, there will be less of that because there usually is, but you just coincidentally heard when there wasn't. So. All right, well, if any of awesome feedback, give us a call, 773-527-2961, or email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. And in site-related news, I got nothing. What do you got, Jay?
If anyone has been to the site in the last 2 weeks, you may have noticed that it is blazing fast now. Blazing. We're talking about like a 700 to 1,000% increase in speed when loading pages. We finally got off, and this is a little sad because we've been with the same host for 10 years.
11.
11. And we've done as much work, I think, that I should say me, in terms of the server stuff. We did as much as we could in terms of like performance of what we were paying. And we were paying a significant amount of cash to keep that server up. We're now with a hosted cloud service that really, so anywhere you're hitting us from, you possibly could be getting it from a server that's really close to your house, which is awesome. So like we don't have to deal with any of that side of things anymore. We've moved the entire site, everything, the history, every single piece of software has moved over to this new host. So for the better part of last week, I was doing the migration. It actually went fairly smooth. There was almost no downtime at all, maybe like an hour. But the site is insanely fast now. So you want to go to the forums, which used to take forever. It's like that. So that's what we've been doing on the site, really focusing on performance and a new infrastructure, and it's really worked out amazingly well. And as a consequence of that, believe it or not, if anyone knows anything about SEO and search and all that shit, Google really, really likes it when your site's super, super fast. It's part of the reason, part of the algorithm. And we've seen an increase in people signing up as a result of this change. So it's good. I mean, I think, we're getting more traffic. More people are willing to stay on the site because, you come to a site, it's slow. I've been doing this for years in terms of this business. You've got like 0.2 seconds to impress upon your performance. If it's even the slightest bit too slow, you will lose somebody. So I think this will really help in bringing in new people. And, of course, the old people in terms of our response. It's a lot nicer to be on the forum. So that's what we've been doing this week. And I'm super excited about how well it's performed.
Nice. As am I. It is blazing fast.
Fast.
It's not annoying to go to our own site.
Right. Yes.
Which is always a bad sign.
That's a bad sign. And as administrators, because there's so much more going on in terms of like what's happening behind the scenes, it takes even longer to load generally for us. So when you're sitting there waiting a minute for your own site to respond, sometimes it gets a little shitty. So it's great that it's happening. I only wish we would have done it years ago. But we had a lot invested in this, and, moving the emails and all that shit over was not trivial. But we did it. We're good.
We're almost done.
Yep.
Yes. right. Well, Jay, on that one, we jump on over into what we're playing. Joel Rock Albert, what have you been playing this week?
Insane amounts of Destiny.
I see you on there all the time when I'm
Yeah,
on there all the time.
man.
Yes.
Iron Banner, I did. I put a post out to Twitter. I don't generally get angry at games. I mean, I do, but like not angry enough to like message the dev. But I did 13 hours of Iron Banner, 3 tunes, all, you know, rank 5, whatever. I was really pissed about. Really pissed is probably too strong because I ultimately don't care. But because I like PvP, it's what I do anyway. But I'm pissed with the fact that after that many hours, I got 2 usable items under light 300. And I ran the raid on all 3 characters. Took me an hour. And on almost every single character, I got 2 pieces above. Right? So my total investment in raiding is maybe 3 hours. And I got more from 1 hour of raiding than I did 13 hours of banner.
Yeah, that's fucked up. I played the shit out of Iron Banner too, and I knew I wasn't happy with what I was going to get. You could see what was purchasable, and you knew that was shit. And you're like, well, maybe something else.
The weapon, Nerwin's or whatever, is fucking incredible.
Is it?
It is incredible. Yeah. One of the best PvP weapons in the game, in my opinion. So if you did do Iron Banner, at least you knew you were going to get that. And that might be okay for some people. And I think for a casual player, maybe it's okay. But the thing is, even if you're casual, you still have to do all the way to level 5 to get it.
Yep.
So there's an extreme time investment just to get a 280 item level weapon, which is a great weapon. But, you know, again, you compare it to just running even a strike, and your chances of getting an Ingram are higher.
Yep.
So a little disappointed there. But, yeah, I'm playing Destiny full time. I'm, as of tomorrow, hopefully no one yells at me for my guild, but probably going to be quitting World of Warcraft.
Wow, look at you.
Expansion.
Nice, grats.
So, you know, I always take time off with World of Warcraft. I have not told my guild yet, so if anyone is listening.
Watching live.
But yeah, I'm kind of, you know, again, with anything, with even Destiny, the reason I quit last time is because as soon as the content runs out, I'm not one of those guys that sticks around for a long time to wait until the next thing comes out. I don't have that in me. So now, you know, WoW's coming out the curtails of their expansion. There's going to be a new one. I'll wait it out. I'll play Destiny and you know, see how that goes.
Now, did you finish your Crucible quest chain?
No.
Okay, that's the one that unlocks the weekly Crucible bounties that have Nightfall tier rewards. So that's like it's like a 100-step quest that starts with Lord Shaxx, and it's like, go play this Crucible mode, go play this, go play this. And then eventually it's like, get 6 kills with an auto rifle in a game and win 3 times.
Is that the same one where you have the shotgun quest where you have to kill the 2 brothers, or is that a separate quest?
No, that's a separate. Yeah, that's a separate one. But this is a long, multi-part chain. Starts with Lord Shaxx, goes to the weaponsmith, then back to Lord Shaxx. It takes a while to finish, though. I finished that up over the weekend, and now Lord Shaxx, in addition to everybody else that offers you bounties, whether it's the bounty tracker guy, whether it's the Iron Banner, whether it's the chick over in the Reef. Now Lord Shaxx has these special bounties if you complete all 6 each week, which you're going to do anyway if you play the Crucible. You might have to play one other game type because usually sometimes he has a bounty win in 3 different game types, and you're like, oh, okay, I can do that. But so that drops, you know, exotic or whatever, the same type of shit that you get from the Nightfall. So,
you know, that's one criticism I would have, and it's like, I wouldn't say it's a criticism anyone's even going to agree with me, because I think a lot of people love this type of thing that's now in year 2. I'm not a quest guy. Like I think I've done so much of this in my life when it comes to MMOs. I've already lived the MMO life enough. The long quest chains, I don't like. I didn't do what's the big one people are doing in the raid.
Oh, yeah, it starts out with the I know the one you're talking about. Yeah,
you get I don't know why I forget the name of the weapon, but it's an amazing raid weapon, especially to use against Oryx in the final fight. It's probably a requirement for hard mode. But I haven't done any of that. I just don't like the long sort of monotonous, you know, grind and then the next quest and the next quest. I don't want to do that shit. So all of the gear I've earned in Destiny has all been from just playing the game and not you know, doing the raid. I've been fairly happy with this raid. It's definitely keeping me interested for now. But yeah, it's good.
Nice.
I'm assuming you're playing Destiny as well.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, Destiny nonstop. Although, you know, actually, no, I do have to change that. I have played a bunch of Rock Band 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is
Are you enjoying it?
It's still got some bugs, some
Okay.
kinks in it with the UI, and being that Tiff was the Rock Band guru, we have like 1,100, 1,200 songs that from the previous Rock Bands that we can bring into it, but there's no easy way to do it. So they said that's coming in the future, but right now what you have to do is you have to go to the store. You have to in Rock Band. You go down to a song that you own, that you know you own. Like oh, I want to sing "Smells Like Teen Spirit." You go down to "Smells Like Teen Spirit." It says, "Oh, this is going to cost you $1.99." You pick purchase, and then when the confirmation screen comes up, it says, "Oh, you already own this. It's free. So pick OK." But imagine doing that for fucking
for everything.
yes.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, that's insane.
So,
But it's fun. I mean, you are enjoying. I mean, are you doing it just because of the nostalgia reason of that? You know, I mean, for at a time, those types of games were popular.
Part of it's nostalgia. Part of it's because it's a good thing to do with a good family game, good party game. Like you're not going to play Destiny when you have a party over, but you can definitely wing out some microphones and some drums and some guitars and so yeah, it's good. And then that's about it. Cool. But yeah, 99% Destiny, 1% Rock Band.
Sure.
So, all right, Jay. Well, on that, why don't we hop on over into the new releases? First new release out this week is a multi-platform release, and it's Assassin's Creed Syndicate. And this is out for the Xbox One and the PS4. This is the 9th major game in Ubisoft's popular Assassin's Creed series. This time it's set in 1868 London, and you take on the roles of these twins, Jacob and Evie Fry. It's the first time you switch characters in an Assassin's Creed game, so you can switch back and forth between Evie and Jacob. And it's the first major Assassin's Creed game with a female protagonist. Now, there was like a Vita game that had a female protagonist, but this is the first actual one that's part of the main storyline that you can play as a female. Confusingly, this one is coming out with 5 different retail SKUs, with everything from just the base game all the way up to this Big Ben edition, and they all have different things they come with, and different. This one has the season pass, this one doesn't, this one has this. So, I don't know. I felt like we were already getting too many Assassin's Creed games too quickly, and to like double up on it and to fucking double down, boom, 5 editions. I just feel like that's going a little crazy. You know,
I hate saying it, but like, no, I don't hate saying it. I mean, like the reality of Assassin's Creed with the amount of time that they push things out, I think they need to flat out take a break for like a 5-year span of time. I think they got to just stop making this game. And I know there's a lot of money invested in the IP. And for them, it's a cash grab. I get it. But for the sake of the longevity of an IP, because it was, I mean, let's face it, like old Assassin's Creeds, up until a certain point, I think were very good games.
Oh, yeah.
And it's sort of, now and I'm not saying this isn't, I don't know. But the problem with that is I don't want to play it anymore because there's too many of them.
Yeah, they just keep coming.
Like, it could be great, but like, I don't need it right now. I feel like it's time to put it to bed.
Yep. I absolutely agree. Like, even take a year off. Just take some amount of time off without an Assassin's Creed game. And I know there's got to be some math formula. Like, well, if we put it out each year, we have diminishing returns, but it's still this huge amount of money. Well, imagine if you took like an extra year and you made that game that much more phenomenal. You made it that much more Assassin's Creed-y, and you put that extra time into it. And then you're like, oh my God, here comes this new Assassin's Creed game. It's 10 times bigger than any game we made. It's no longer really on railsy. It's got much more open worldness and all the shit you like and blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, now, even though you waited and you missed out on a year, this one's, 4 or 5 times the sales. And now there's got to be some mathematician out there that can compute that.
I mean, it just seems so weird to me to like, take an IP that I know this happens with Call of Duty as well, and I think it's the same sort of effect now that people have, where they're just like, every year it's impressive to one extent, but at the same extent, it's like, I don't think everyone believes they want that game every year. You know what I mean? Like when we were playing Halo, everyone was like, man, I wish they should make Halo every year. I remember saying that.
Oh, I've said that myself.
Yeah, like why aren't they doing this every year? This is amazing. They need more developers. They got to get more content out. But it washes away all the hype and joy that you get from waiting for something amazing. Yep. And it's a shame for IPs like that were just so popular back then to sort of fall into this, trap of like, it's a hit IP. We got to hit it now. We got to put as much as we can. And it ruins the whole nostalgia of the old game. You start to not like the good things that you remember. They get washed away by what's fresh, and what's fresh is shit.
Yep.
So, they should stop making this game.
Yeah, I'm glad we agree on that.
We agree on that.
All right, next new release out this week is also a multi-platform release, and it's Guitar Hero Live. And this is out for the Xbox One, the PS4, the Wii U, the 360, and the PS3. Activision brings back the Guitar Hero franchise for the first time since 2010's Warriors of Rock. Along with the new game comes a redesigned guitar. So instead of the 5 colored buttons, like everybody has always used forever, now you have 2 rows of 3 buttons each. One is black, one is white. It's kind of represented on the screen. So it's more of a feel where you're playing chords and your fingers are going in the same vicinity over and above or below each other. It features full motion video from the guitarist's perspective with the crowd reacting to your prowess. So as you're playing, you're seeing a crowd out there in FMV, which is so 80s, but it's also so now. And then as you start sucking, the crowd starts turning on you. They start booing, and it's all really fluid and well done. In addition to the on-disc content, there's also this thing they're introducing called Guitar Hero TV. So this is a curated channel of hundreds of other songs that you can hop onto live and play. So like you might own whatever songs come with the game, 50 or whatever songs. You go to Guitar Hero Live, Guitar Hero TV, it's live. You pop on, it's in the middle of some song, but that's okay. You jump in that song. Then that song ends, it's another song. You're not picking these, it's a curated playlist. And these aren't songs you already have. So you can just play it for free as part of this. And if you want to be able to play in the future at your leisure, well, then you can use in-game currency to buy it from there. So there's no early review scores out for this yet, but with the Rock Band 4 sloppy launch, this may be suited to jump in. Maybe the thing isn't just people wanting another rhythm game. Maybe people wanted some change when maybe this controller changes it. So I don't know. I didn't pre-order this or anything, but this may be added to the collection at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I never. I thought that time was over, and it's sad to say that, but I really didn't expect this to ever come back. In fact, I did, but I thought it was going to be like a longer while than it actually ended up being.
That's 5 years.
Not long enough, in my opinion. Not long enough. But I mean, again, I almost felt like there needed to be a more significant technical bump in terms of how they built their controller and things like that to make it worthwhile. It's still the same game, mostly. But I don't think people were really begging for this game yet. I don't know. Did you miss, like, were you ever like, I wish there was a new Rock Band that came out? I don't feel like that conversation happened.
I didn't need a new Rock Band. I just needed Rock Band to work on the consoles that are in the house now, the Xbox One.
Yeah,
so,
and then I think, yeah. Like if there was a backwards compatibility thing.
That was the necessary step, because you have people over and they're like, oh, you got all these instruments over here in the instrument rack and all these microphones. Right. Like, oh, sorry, we don't have any consoles.
Yeah, you're like, we don't
keep the old shit around.
Yeah,
yes.
We hide that shit or burn it.
So I would have been happy with just back compat or just release like a $20 version that had what this is and don't change any features. Right. But
I mean, they got to sell the peripheral because it makes them money. I get it.
Well, especially for Guitar Hero here is that they completely redesigned the way the peripheral works. And who knows, that may end up becoming a more fun dynamic, because I noticed maybe it's just having taken some time off of playing Rock Band. Like that big stretch of the 5 buttons, like when you start working it, like you start getting the tendons and your wrists start getting all fucked up. But I imagine if it's tighter and you're not leaving that little, 3 button area, that's a lot less work on the wrist, but it still takes as much, if not more skill. So I don't know. I think they got
that's the switch up they needed. I don't know. I haven't seen the pre-order number. I don't know what they're going to do in terms of their profitability or their what they make. But I don't know. I never felt like I wanted this again. And I was a Guitar Hero fan. I mean, I owned both guitar. I didn't go crazy when it got out of control with the mics and I never reached that level.
We had all that.
Oh,
yes.
I know. And I liked the game. I mean, I enjoyed the game. So I just didn't, talking to friends, whatever, being out there about video games, I don't think anyone was ever like, man, I wish they'd make another Rock Band,
Yeah.
But, oh well, who knows? Maybe. New generation. That could be maybe I'm just too old.
Rock Band and Guitar Hero, the next generation. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. All right. Last new release out this week is also a multi-platform release, and it's Just Dance 2016. This is out for the Xbox One, the PS4, the Wii U, the 360, the PS3, and the Wii. This is Ubisoft's latest offering in the still popular dance genre of games. They've chosen to still hang on to the non-Kinect and camera console version where like you just hold a little Wiimote. And that counts as your dancing. So as long as you're really pro with moving that one arm, you can dance out a song and 100% it from the couch. The game includes more than 50 songs out of the box, spanning multiple genres and years. So all sorts of different types of dance songs. Ubisoft 2 is introducing something that's another cash grab from the other side, and it's a monthly subscription service called Just Dance Unlimited. Right now, it comes with 150 songs from previous Just Dance games on day one. And in the future, it'll include new exclusive songs. So you're going to pay monthly for this. It gives you 150 old songs that you may or may not have had if you were a Just Dance person. And then moving on beyond that, you're going to get all this extra content. So I don't know if that's worth it. I never liked, if I was going to play a dance game, I'd play Dance Central. But that's just me.
You know, I'm realizing how cynical I am after these 3 games you just mentioned. I realized, like, there was nothing unique or new about any of these releases, and I hate video games now.
Yeah, they all have a year after them, or a number, or
it's like a fucking 2016,
or a colon something.
Every week I feel like we do this, and I'm starting to want to fucking not play video games anymore. The greatest thing about Destiny, and I don't want to go too far into that, but I mean the greatest thing about it is that it's not a new. It's at least a new game, and there's so much hate for it. I feel the same way even about Warcraft. At least Warcraft's not like part 7, part 8. It's the same game, but they're just doing it well, and they're continuing to do it. Some of these games like this, where you feel the cash grab, you see the cash grab. There's no like question of what's going on, what the motivation of the game is. It's just like it's ridiculous, and the fact that they sell units, I guess, is what really gets to me. Like,
Ubisoft is notorious for it. That's just their special. Like you go to E3, and of all the shit Ubisoft is showing off, maybe they'll have over in one corner behind closed doors, you're gonna get to see the new thing. That's like, the thing you didn't expect. It's out of left field. You didn't even know it was coming. The rest of their booth is all the next iteration of the thing you already fucking know. So it is what it is. We
have a sore spot in our heart for Ubi anyway.
Yeah, they used to be our bros.
Yeah, they used to be our bros, and they fucked us over.
Yeah, fuck them.
And now you know why.
Unless we're bros again, and then unfuck.
Yeah, then we'll sell your shit, and I'll tell you how much I love Just Dance.
Yes. All right, Jay. Well, on that, why don't we slam on over into gaming news? First story!
Soon you'll be able to remap your buttons on your Xbox One controller, and I don't mean the Elite version. Dun, dun, dun. This is via The Verge. So apparently the Windows 10 powered Xbox One dashboard isn't the only thing you should be excited about. Mike Ybarra of Microsoft's gaming team has revealed on Twitter that all of us will soon be able to completely remap our buttons on the Xbox One controller so that you can change what the system sees when you click, for instance, the B button or any button, whatever the fuck you want to map it to. Yeah, that means you won't actually need to spend the 150 bones that you would need to get the super fancy customizable Xbox One Elite controller, although that thing looks fucking amazing anyway, so you should buy it. And no, I'm not a shill for Microsoft, but I would say that even if they were going to pay me, but if they want to pay me, just, you know my number. Anyway, that's good news, because button remapping, and this I totally think, should have been done billions of years ago. All the way on Nintendo should always had button mapping.
Yes.
PCs have done this forever because PCs are the master race, and finally we're getting consoles to put up and shut up, and they did. That's great. So one controller scheme, of course, doesn't fit all, and since game publishers rarely make the effort to provide any meaningful controller customization, which, by the way, is I think the biggest reason this doesn't happen, so it's great to see it on the hardware side, it makes a whole lot of sense, finally, for console makers to get out there and deal with the issue, and it's great. It's a great thing. Of course, Sony did it earlier, which I wonder may or may not have played a role in Microsoft doing it, but either way, I'm glad they quietly added it as part of their software update. But of course, beyond button mapping, the $150 gamepad has swappable parts for customizableness at a whole nother level. Which is awesome. I mean, so Microsoft originally announced that it was going to be the Elite thing. I think it was a smart move for them to do that, because they basically were like, you can only get it with the Elite. And then now that the Elite has been pre-ordered and whatever, they're like, oh yeah, you could also do it with your regular controller. So. So no word on when you'll be able to customize the controls of your Xbox One. But Ybarra said it's coming soon. I would assume it's going to come pretty much with the update and or with the new controller. So what are your thoughts?
Well, granted, there's still a benefit to getting the Elite controller, because here you're going in
yes.
software and you're redefining it at that point for everything. So it's still not like having multiple profiles. So
Right.
if I'm playing Halo 5 and I'm playing Destiny and I want Halo 5's controls to match Destiny, and of course, because 343 doesn't like that fully customizable thing, I can just then take the closest customization, remap the rest, play it on my Elite controller, and then when I'm done and I'm going back to Destiny, I flip a little switch, boom, I'm back to the other one. So
yeah, and I don't think the value of the Elite controller is because of the button mapping at all. It's great. It should be that way. But the Elite controller, the amount of, even the underside trigger, all the things that it has.
It's got software customizations for when a button counts as being pushed, when it's fully done. You can drop the triggers to half length. If you're someone that's a shooter, you don't need that full swing of it. Now, a guy playing a racing game, you want that full swing. You want to be able to half gas, inch the gas in. So I've had mine pre-ordered forever. It's coming in the 27th, I think. So
yeah,
I can't.
Me too. I mean, for me, that's a great buy, and not to detract from the story, because again, button map. I feel like this is one of those stories where you're like, yeah, that's how it should be.
Yep.
But also, you should buy the Elite controller because it's amazing.
Yeah. This is a good stopgap for someone that wants to see the value in it, wants to see what the button remapping can do, and you're like, oh, yeah, okay, I can remap it. Oh, now I'm playing my other game. Let me set them back, and then that you're gonna do that enough times, you're gonna be like, okay, maybe I'll just buy the fancy controller. And the fancy controller has so many other features that this is the smallest of the features on that controller.
Agreed. And to me, that's the thing. So people, have said, like, what is the exact value in this Elite? I've had this question asked me a million times by all my friends about, like, why would they ever spend $150 on a controller? And I will say it's expensive. I mean, there's mice that are way beyond this that are cheaper, $100, less than $100. But to me, because it's made by Microsoft for their own system, and I think they make I've always said this, and I think everyone agrees, they make amazing controllers. They're actually really good at it. Yep. So for them to make this Elite controller, I do believe there is a tactical advantage of using this controller over one that you don't have.
Oh, certainly.
Like if you've ever played PC games, so I have this mouse here. I wonder if I can actually get it. This is the Hex mouse that I use for my MMO.
Oh, nice. Yep.
And this is the smaller one. I have a 24 button one as well. Whenever you have more access to like other ways to do inputs on a device, it takes a while mentally to get there to fully utilize it. But once you do, you're quicker at whatever it is you were originally doing with two buttons. And I feel that same way about the Elite controller.
Oh, the paddles on the bottom. Yeah. Just having those there, that automatically speeds up anything, because you never have to move your fingers off the top. Right. Yes.
Yeah. So no brainer. Awesome that they're doing the mapping. Awesome. But
we really did turn this. You're right. We turned this story into an ad for the,
it's an ad for the Elite controller. I'm waiting for the check.
Cha-ching. Yeah. Button mapping's cool, but the Elite controller is better. Next story.
Next story. The Humble Bundle will send you indie games every month for $12. Not a bad deal. So there's yet another interesting roundup of products hitting the Humble Bundle's digital shelves tomorrow. The charitable gaming distributor announced on Thursday that it will be rolling out a monthly subscription bundle for online indie games. The subscription service will cost an even $12 each month, with, of course, 5% of that figure going towards the charity, and unlocks on the first Friday of every month. So these bundles will feature the company's standard curated mix of marquee and lesser-known game titles, which is awesome. But at the same time, you're helping charity. So what do you think about the Humble Bundle?
I've done some Humble Bundles before, and you do get a bunch of good games, and sometimes you get like a sleeper game from indie games that you didn't know was good, and they're good. I don't know. I like the idea of a subscription because people forget them, and that's better for charity.
Yes, exactly.
So I don't know if they can, because they don't always have a Humble Bundle. Like the Humble Bundle they put out lasts for months and months and months, then they do a new one.
Right.
So I don't know if the value and the quality of these bundles goes down by having to come out with a new one each month, but I guess only time's going to tell as far as that's concerned. But
I'm hoping that's, like you said, I'm hoping that that's the scenario is like, they get me to, let's say there's one game in the Humble Bundle. I'm like, oh, it's an interesting game. And I really spend the $12 on that game or that series of games. But then I forget. And every month I get my email and I'm like, well, maybe I'll check out these games. I won't really unsubscribe. And they just make money that way, which again, it's for charity ultimately. So I don't know that it's a bad, I don't feel like they're trying to shield me out of my cash.
No, it's not like XSplit. Like we went to do the show tonight, and neither of us had broadcast the show in a while. We needed to buy XSplit, and Jay found out he's been paying for it forever, and he hasn't used it in well over a year.
Oh yeah,
at least. But this one's for charity.
But this one's for charity. Yeah. So maybe if I found that out after a year, I'd be like, well, what are you gonna do?
So yes.
But yeah. So it's a good thing regardless. But I agree with you. I don't know if they'll have like the inventory of games to go to make it even a worthwhile thing every month. But hopefully people sign up.
I guess technically, if you have one quality game, it's definitely worth $12.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think a $12.
Think of what you bought for more than $12.
Yeah, no. Think of how many Steam. We've said this a million times.
The
I have
Steam
a
sale.
library of Steam games that would amaze you that have never I've never even clicked to.
I haven't even installed them. Yes.
Yeah, they're just in your account and they're not even downloaded. There's many of those. So $12 to me is fair for one good game. But,
Agreed.
Yeah. All right, next story. Here we go. Raptor's video sharing service is expanding with the ESL and Wargaming deals. So if you don't know about them, Plays.tv is a game video clip recording and sharing service that launched earlier this year by Raptor and has made notable inroads into esports business by striking strategic partnerships with the ESL and our favorite World of Tanks developer, Wargaming. So this marks the fruition of plans Raptor founder Dennis Fong laid out to Gamasutra earlier this year to turn Plays.tv into a sort of, quote, showcase for esports broadcasters, clearing a spot for it to coexist in the market alongside game video platforms like, of course, Twitch, we're on it now, and YouTube gaming. So, quote, Plays.tv, by contrast, is asynchronous, short form, and anyone can be a creator/contributor, Fong told Gamasutra. Quote, every game's memorable moments are interesting, especially if they are distilled down to just the best parts, unquote. Unlike established esports broadcasting platform Twitch, Plays.tv focuses on quickly providing gameplay clips recorded from a player's perspective. I don't know where else it would be recorded from, but okay.
Yeah, no, some esports are done by the
camera thing.
Yeah.
But it's a weird thing to define when the majority of them don't. All right, but
it's like YouTube.
Yeah, right. So everyone? Okay. The company expects to provide clips and highlight reels during the Wargaming League North America Season 1 Finals World of Tanks competition that's happening this weekend. Though its partnerships with Wargaming is ultimately aimed at integrating its video sharing service more directly with the company's games. And I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on Play? I mean, I never even knew this existed.
I didn't either till this story, but they got the right people in bed with them from day one. You've got ESL and you've got World of Tanks, which is the giant white fucking elephant behemoth in the room. Like when we first got hooked on with the World of Tanks guys, we didn't even know this thing was a thing.
Totally.
And then all of a sudden we figured out
crazy.
They have 90 million people playing it. We never heard of it. And all of a sudden they became our bros. And we like to see them do awesome stuff. And they always seem to be forward looking. And if you go to E3, you go to PAX, they always have a huge fucking presence in their booth. And everybody's battling with tanks. People that have never even played the game are in there. And they're competitive because the games have a low barrier to entry, but a really steep learning curve to become the guru. And people love to watch it. People love to play it. And I think that that's the right partner. Like if you're going to pick an individual game to partner with, you pick with someone that doesn't have a built-in streaming solution and that has a huge user base. And 90 million users, you can't go wrong with that.
My only thing is, I guess we'll find out, but I mean, do people want 30-second clips of video games? I don't know that the market was screaming for that. It's not like, obviously they're trying to be the Vine, I suppose, of video games, right? So is that a thing? And if so, like, why couldn't I just do a 30-second clip on YouTube? What am I missing here, Derek? Pitch me.
Maybe it's the connectivity of the game. Maybe from a game you can pop it up and be like, oh.
I think that's the only way in.
I'm playing World of Tanks, so I can buy this Hauser 312 made-up tank. And then you're like, oh, somewhere in the page, there's a link. It's like, oh, see more about the Hauser 312. And you click that and it's like, oh, there's some guy, he's got this move and this move. And that's the only way I can figure that it really hooks in. And, or the fact that it makes it really easy for you to be like, kind of like the Xbox record that.
See, that's where
Yes.
I was going.
Yeah.
That's
So
what it is,
you
right?
do something awesome and you're like, yep, boom, hit the one button, you got the recording and you can show that clip later. And it's not console specific.
Right.
You can, whether it's your PC, whether it's Xbox One, World of Tanks, whether it's whatever, I assume they're going to hook this into all of them and get those recordings. Then you're going to be able to, you know, trim them up and publish them out there. And I think that's really the key is it brings Xbox Record that to everything.
See, that's what I was thinking too, and I just want. It's weird with Xbox Record that, right? Like I've done it a million times, right? I've said Xbox Record that a million times. How often I watch those videos?
But see that
Or
how
shared?
often
I've
you
never
watch them?
shared them.
You don't have to share them because I can
They're
go
auto-shared.
on and
check
when
my
I
shit out.
sign on my dashboard, it's like Joel Albert fucking recorded a clip, and then I'm like, oh, and I look, I'm not going to watch it, but I see what the screenshot is, and I'm like, oh, he's at Oryx, and I'm okay, I'll watch this real quick, and then you see, and it's like you got fucking killed, and then everybody else took down the boss, and then everybody teabagged you because you were still down or something.
Sure.
You're like, oh, oh Jay,
But,
oh.
like, that doesn't really reach the same. I guess my thing is like on a scale where you're a profitable company and people are all watching your shit. Like Twitch makes sense, and like, are they gonna be this big thing? Like, do Vines for video games? Is the world screaming for that?
I guess we're gonna find out because I have no idea.
I say no. I'm just gonna say
I didn't think Vine was a thing. Like
True.
I remember when they were like Vine, these are little 8-second videos, and you're like, what the fuck can you put together in 8 seconds? Some of the most brilliant shit fucking ever. Like that guy that does all the fake magic, like where he like runs and he jumps in the side of a car, and
he's great.
like these guys are geniuses. Like you can do a lot in 8 seconds. So yeah, we're shitting on this now, but someone's gonna prove us wrong.
I hope so, but I'm gonna go on record that I am in fact shitting on it.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Fair enough.
I don't know why, but I need to go on record.
You
for
fucking
that.
hate it.
I
You
fucking hate it.
let the
Yes.
record show that Joel Rock Albert says this is fucking bullshit.
This is bullshit. No one wants this. Fuck you. But also, wargaming is awesome, so that's a weird.
We love you guys. This works.
Okay, so Virginia Beach mom gets a Minecraft sword and 800 rounds of ammunition from Toys R Us. This is via Game Politics. A Virginia Beach mother was shocked to find a 9mm Luger ammo packed with a foam Minecraft sword shipped to her from a Toys R Us retailer. According to the local news station, 13, now, Jasmine Stevenson ordered a Minecraft foam diamond sword and from the toy store's website, Jesus Christ, last week for her son. Her son received the sword on Tuesday along with, surprise, surprise, 800 rounds of 9mm ammunition in the box, which is great for any child, really, I think. Toys R Us, of course, had no comment on the story. Probably a good idea. Really not a lot of great scenarios that can come out of that. What's off about the whole thing, though, is even if it was an accident, why the fuck does Toys R Us have ammunition? I'm assuming it's because it's a warehouse that has more than just Toys R Us in it, which is probably the more likely scenario. And so somehow it got packed into the foam core shit, and this kid is a gun nut now. So the national retail chain, of course, doesn't sell guns and ammo, at least that we're aware of. Maybe in like Alabama, there's a Toys R Us with a Winchester rifle that you can get along with a stuffed toy. I don't know. It's possible. Obviously, something odd is going on at the location where the sword was shipped from.
Oh my god, that's insane.
Yeah,
like,
it's weird, right? Like,
or you order a toy and you get ammo. Yeah, that's. And from Toys R Us, it's not like you ordered from Walmart, where like you can
that's
go to
potential. Yeah,
yeah, you go to Walmart, they have toys, they have food, they have guns. Like it's a fucked up store, but they have everything.
Yeah.
Toys R Us, it's in the name.
It's toys.
It's toys.
It's
and
not Toys R Us and also ammo. It's just, which by the way would be fucking awesome if that did exist. But
Toys and ammo are us.
Yes, Toys and ammo are us. There you go. But I'm assuming, again, I think this is probably easy to understand in the sense that, you know, warehouses generally aren't just for one company. Amazon's like one of the only ones that has like an Amazon, and drop shipping and all this shit that happens. A lot of this stuff comes together at some point. So it's not crazy that it happened, but it's also crazy that it happened with a foam sword and a child. That I think is the insanity.
Just picture it could have been a foam sword and a dildo. It could have been
exactly.
Like a dildo is almost worse than
I think it is, because if it was a gun, then it would be like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
but the ammo isn't really harmful. You know what I mean? It's weird, but it's not harmful. Yeah. A dildo would be harmful.
Yeah, there's no way to explain
the rest
that.
Of his life.
Yes.
Yeah. Would have been weird.
Oh, that's crazy.
So, what do you think about the story?
Jay, this story has me saying, what the fuck? And on that, why don't we hop on over to the mailbag and voicemails. Altius asks, last week, well, technically 3 weeks ago, last week you covered 2 new Toys to Life releases, Skylanders Superchargers and Lego Dimensions. While both technically have similar review scores, most of the scores of the Lego Dimensions were dinged due to the higher cost of the toys, and it is a technically better reviewed game. Do you think it's fair for reviewers who should be reviewing the game to reduce the score because of the cost of the add-ons? So I guess what he's saying is because they had the same review scores, but if you read the reviews in the Lego Dimensions reviews, they were like, this would have had a higher score except for the cost of the toys. So really, if they both were getting high 7s, low 8s, and really Lego Dimensions is a 9 game, should you really ding it for the cost of the add-ons?
Yes. This is a great... First of
all, this is good, because I'm going to disagree with you, so you go first.
The reason I say you should is because value always is a motivating factor in purchasing a game. And to pretend that it's not, when we also freak out about DLC being too expensive and all these other things, that would be sort of being disingenuous with most gamers' feelings on these things. So... everyone has said it, like, they don't feel like the Destiny expansions or whatever were worth the $20. I've heard it a million times. Whether or not you agree, again, I think it's an opinion, but reviews are opinions. And so to pretend that the value of something isn't to be accounted for how great a game is, I think is being a little silly. I mean, if tomorrow they said, hey, Destiny 2 is coming out, but we think it's such a great game that we're going to charge $120 for it, I do think a reviewer would not be crazy for saying, what the fuck? It's a great game, but we got to give it a 5 out of 10 because fuck that.
Okay.
I don't think that's crazy to say. So, it is a tough call. I mean,
what you're saying is fair enough, but I am going to go and I'm going to take it to a different point. So when you buy Skylanders and you get your little toy, that thing is only usable in Skylanders. It's literally a piece of plastic that you put on the thing during the game. When you buy the Lego Dimensions things, they don't come as a thing. They come like any other Lego set. And you put it together and then you use in the game. So I don't know when the last time you bought Legos is because you don't have kids, but the cost that you remember Legos being from when we were kids, that's not the cost of Legos. Like, you buy a ship that has maybe 40 pieces in it, and that's like a $15 Lego set. You want to buy one of the Death Star? The Death Star is $500. You want to buy the Hogwarts? That's $500. You want to buy just even a decent size, like maybe 2-foot long ship from Star Wars?
What about the bucket? The bucket of Legos? How much does that cost?
They don't do those anymore.
They don't even do the bucket anymore?
Everything is branded now.
Those motherfuckers.
So you're paying between $99 and $200 for a decent sized Star Wars ship. So obviously those are because they set that price because that's what people are willing to pay to put something together and enjoy the process of putting together Legos. So here maybe it's a little bit more expensive, but it's not just a piece of plastic that you only use in this game. It's also a Lego set. You can take it apart, you can put it back together again. That's all people ever do with Legos. Hell, you can just keep the fucking disc at the bottom and you can build a giant penis on top of it and use that.
By the way, you should build
that can be your Lego thing for Lego Dimensions. And all these things are licensed. So you're getting everything from Back to the Future to Star Wars. Well, not Star Wars yet. Back to the Future to the million other properties, everything except for Star Wars and Avengers, because those are Disney is holding those off.
Why shouldn't that affect? I still don't understand. I mean, I get what you're saying. I'm not saying I don't. I do. But why shouldn't that affect a review if you feel as though the pricing is too high? Given what I've said, even about DLC and all these other things, why is it not the same because it's a tangible item?
Because they're only reviewing it based on it being a thing that unlocks something in the video game, not as a standalone toy. Like, you're buying a toy that's also usable in the video game. It's not, you can't compare that to a piece of like, you might as well just sell me like a card with an RFID chip.
That's the problem is that you're not buying it as a toy. You're buying it to.
You're buying this both.
Now, well, you're getting the value of it being a toy, but the reality is to play the game, you need the toy. So it's intrinsic. It is a part of the game. It's part of the video game. And at that point, that's where I have trouble saying, like, it's okay for it to be expensive. And you need to just review the game based on its merits. As soon as the money becomes a part of the value of the game, I think the reviewer, it's their duty, I would even say, to bring that up. Now, whether it kills the value of the overall score of the game, I can see that. Like, I
see what you're saying. Exactly. Yeah. Bring it up in the review, but it shouldn't affect the score, especially where you take the delta. So, like, let's say you take the price of the Lego Dimensions thing. You subtract the price of a similar Skylander Superchargers thing. The delta is about $5. Now, are you getting more than you get in Legos for $5 for that? Yes, you certainly are. Yeah. You can't buy 2 bricks at Lego for $5. Right, for $5, so yeah, put it in the review, but don't ding the score. Or even at the end of the review, put it as a caveat. But
and the only reason I disagree, and I agree with a lot of what you're saying, is because I really think money when it comes to gaming, mostly with DLC, I need to preface it by saying that, because really games I think are actually a pretty decent value overall. I think reviewers need to put the pressure on developers in general. It's a very general statement to say that things cost too much money, to keep that down. Now, should they just be going out and saying, like, this is too much money, so your game is shit? No. And I think there is a fine line there. Like you're saying, maybe it's better for them to just write a whole 6-paragraph thing about how shit it is that it costs this amount of money. But I do think it decreases the value of a game when it's too much money. And because value is ultimately what you're rating on, that's the problem I have.
I see what you're saying too. This has actually been a really good thing for us because it's caused us to Altius coming through in the clutch.
He is.
You just spent so long telling me that we were exactly the same, and
now we're not.
Now we're exactly.
A rift has been formed. Yes. Thank you, Altius. I appreciate that.
Oh my God, that was an excellent question, Altius. Absolutely. And Jay and I are gonna have to agree to disagree.
Agreed.
But awesome. All right, well, if you have fucking epic questions like Altius, give us a call, 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. You can also comment to this episode's thread in the Tool to Play homepage. And sponsors! Remember, by supporting our sponsors, you help the sport still got game. ThinkGeek. Now, I'm going to just paste in the fucking ThinkGeek thing here, but if you shop at ThinkGeek, moral of the story, before you buy anything, you're ever going to ThinkGeek. Just go to thinkgeek.com/tooltoplay, or no, tooltoplay.com/ThinkGeek, and buy your shit that way. That's every purchase you make helps us out if you do that. So you're going to ThinkGeek, buy it that way. Our other sponsor is the Craft Beer Club. If you're going to buy someone a beer of a month subscription, you're going to buy yourself one, just do it through us because somebody wants it. Someone in your life wants beer. So tooltoplay.com/beer. Go there. It's your best deal possible on a beer of the month subscription. You're going to get some free shit out of it, some free glasses and everything else. So tooltoplay.com/beer and get your subscription there. If any of you would like to sponsor us, give us a call, 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. You tell us what you're selling. We'll tell you you're going to pay us. We'll sell it. You pay us. Boom. Done. Twitter us up. You can find everything Tool to Play related at twitter.com/Tool to Play. Everything podcast related at twitter.com/still_got_game. I, king of the fucking internet, got of everything that's fucking holy at twitter.com/Derek Nolan.
Twitter.com/DudeAtRock.
Facebook the fuck out of us. Facebook.com/Tool to Play. Facebook.com/Derek Nolan.
Facebook.com/DudeAtRock.
We have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tool to Play. That is the place to find all of Tool to Play's archive video content, whether it's this show, whether it's one-off shows, whether it's hits, which is coming back for Halo 5, by the way. Hit is confirmed. Half-Life 3 confirmed. And Hit's motherfucking, it's confirmed because Hit is coming back for the Halo 5 release to do Hit's motherfucking quit hit shits. And all of our other shows show up there on YouTube. Everything gets archived there. So anything we've ever done in the past, go to youtube.com/toolplay, subscribe there, and you will get all of our archive content. We also need you to rate and review this podcast in iTunes. We need some 5-star reviews, and you give us the 5 stars, but if you go over and above, that's really all it takes. But you want to go over and above and write something, that's what really means it to us. And once again, as promised, I've picked one of our reviews to feature in this week's episode. This is from Blue Shift, which is like Blue Shift, but spelled with a Z. I've been listening to this podcast for the last couple of years since its earlier incarnation as Too Old to Type Radio, and it's great. These guys are real gamers with real talk and real lives. You know, the kind of life once your parents kick you out of the house and you have to get a real job to feed your kids. LOL. Seriously, these guys are having fun talking about games, and you should join them. So, thank you, Blue Shift. You took some time to write up 5-6 sentences.
Review.
Yeah, it's not like these guys blow. Fuck them. Like, you wrote something nice, and you gave us a 5-star review. So, if you want your content featured here on the show, you want to be famous like Blue Shift, 5 stars, and write something up with it. Because we know you're going to go there and go 5 stars. It's a no-brainer. Like, how could you do anything less? But you want to write something up, you could be featured here. And if you are a creative person, like a Bubba of the group, and you want to really get your wordsmith on and write something fantastic, I'll read in its fucking entirety here. So write something. That's the call out to you. Go to iTunes, review the show, write something fantastical. And I'm sure when I go look, I'm going to see your giant paragraph of fucking coming all over us, and I'll be like, yeah, that's going to go in the show. Cool, whatever. So do it up. All right, we also have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/tooltoplay. That is where we broadcast all of Tool to Play's live content, whether it's this show, whether it's other shows, whether it's game streaming, doesn't matter. We do it all on twitch.tv/tooltoplay. So you can go there, you can follow us, or more importantly, you can subscribe. There's a button down here somewhere if you're watching the stream, and that is the button that you can click, and that's what gives us a direct support from you. It doesn't cost a lot. It costs $4.99 a month. And by doing that, you help support this show. If you like this show, if you like it more than the 2 cups of coffee you bought from Starbucks last week, this costs less than that for a whole month. And that was a week. So go there, subscribe to us, and that's really the way to show us your support, because we would really appreciate it. Right, Jay?
Goddamn right.
All right. Well, Jay, I guess on that, why don't we get to the end of the show here? I want to remind everybody you can join us each and every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, on twitch.tv/tooltoplay. And on that, we'll wrap this episode up. I am Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
I am Joel.